So we're in a non-game week. We wanted to be very specific with the players that this is not an off week. We still have a lot of work to do. We practiced last night, and then we'll practice again today, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Especially with this being an 11th week, non-game week, we're not going to practice as much as we normally would, or as much as we normally have in the past. So we're going to go. We went last night. We'll go again today. And then Wednesday and Thursday, they're just going to finish up training in the weight room. We've got some, we want to get some good lifts in. And then Friday, all they have is class responsibilities. From a staff standpoint, obviously, it's a week to review and recruit. You get a chance to rest with the players, review with the coaches, and then recruit. So we're going to do that as well tonight after practice. Some guys get out on the road for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Have Saturday with their families, and then Sunday we'll rack it back up as normal business, getting ready for Austin Peay.
You indicated that offensively you might need to make some sort of changes. Is that in scheme, personnel on the field, and have you addressed it yet?
Yeah, well, obviously we've addressed a little bit of it, a little bit of both, a little bit of personnel, a little bit of scheme, a little bit of just maybe how we practice, and as my dad called it, and it probably hurt my feelings, probably one of the worst things my dad's ever said. He said it just looked like very uninspired football on that side of the ball. So we've got to, we really have to work at that. When we did that last night, I had a very spirited practice last night, and just making sure that, again, we talk a lot about it, and this is kind of something that we're going to move into next year. I'm talking about when you look at the actual facts of football, if you take just the amount of time you actually play, you only play roughly about 11 minutes. That's it. And you only do that 11 times guaranteed, some years 12 guaranteed. So it's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of opportunities that you have. So we want to make sure that we don't waste those. And we spent a lot of time talking about that with the offensive unit. Again, the review part of a non-game week allows you the chance to review and look at where you've been, where you have some tendencies, whether you're maybe not being so dynamic in some places, figuring out why that is. You look at the first part of the season and, man, we were a lot more dynamic, or we had a lot less tendencies, and then as it goes, why are we not so dynamic here? Why do we have more tendencies and things like that, personnel-wise, coaching personnel-wise, maybe my role, what that's going to look like, and things like that. Am I 100%? Has that been defined yet? No. We're close to it, obviously, because I don't want to waste precious practice time and things like that this week. But it is a little bit of a work in progress, and figuring out exactly what that looks like moving forward. Clear as mud.
In practice this week, is it more of a focus on you guys getting better, or a focus on getting prepared for Austin?
No, it'll be no Austin Peay. It's all us. It's all fundamentals. It's all techniques. It'll be no focus on Austin Peay with the players. Coaches, obviously, we've got a chance to look ahead and go ahead and get some of our scouting done and our reports done and things like that. But as far as the players are concerned, it's all review. It's all us, what we're doing, and how we're doing it, and more importantly, how we're doing it.
Okay, I know you don't want to be complacent with it, but eventually, right now you're playing at a championship level.
Sure, I've really felt like we've played well enough to win ball games on that side of the ball, and you got to be very careful with that. You don't ever want to divide your room. So you got to be very, very careful with how you're doing, because I've been on the other side of that. Obviously you and I, we've been here for a while now. We remember those years too, and I remember what that can do if you're not careful. Where one side of the ball, A, starts to resent the other side of the ball, and then B, like you said, gets complacent. Man, we're playing well. Maybe that means we don't need to practice as well. No. I think Coach Johnson and his staff have done a tremendous job of that, because they spend an awful lot of time talking. They call them hurt me's, on what's hurting them. And I think they do a nice job of looking to see, hey, why is so many people short fly motioning us and cracking us? Why is that? Because that's been a thing the past couple of weeks. Everybody has tried some form of short fly motion crack us. So we've tried to look at that, and we've tried to get better at that. had a stat that we've had 9 balls that we either touched or were on the ground that could have been I think 6 of the 9 could have been touchdowns that we either touched or hit the ground that we did not finish the play. We did not recover. We did not pick it. We did not go the other way with it. And when you start talking about that on top of the turnovers that we already have, all of a sudden you're an elite team in that area. So we focused hard on that. And when I say focused hard on it, we literally on Monday nights we split the team up, and the defense goes with the offensive coaches at the end of practice, and they work on catching balls, and securing balls, and corners working on watching the ball, into the tuck and things like that to try to get even better. So obviously we have to guard a little bit because we're not there yet, and by no stretch of the imagination are we some force to be reckoned with defensively, but we are playing well enough to win on that side of the ball.
From an injury standpoint, any new news on how you came out?
Well, depending on how you want to look at it, the silver lining is because I did think Rice played exceptionally well Saturday night. Come to find out, he did have a concussion. We didn't know about it. And from talking with him, I think it happened pretty early in the game. But he'll have to sit this week. What that looks like, obviously, it's just we have a tremendous concussion protocol. As a coach, it drives you insane because a lot of times it's long, but it's safe. And I really like it because it's safe and it has nothing to do with my feelings towards when they should get back or even Fulton's feelings towards when they should get back. It's all up to them and the test and all that. So we'll put him in the concussion protocol. Sapp's still battling his. He didn't play last week. He's still battling his, but I would like to believe that after a week he'd be able to get back in. Caddis's kind of ankle, but again, we're in a non-game week, so we should have time to get him back. Corey Tillman did dislocate a big toe, so I don't know what that'll look like because I've really been pleased with Corey Tillman at that defensive front. He's really played well for us, so I don't really know what that looks like. Somebody have to step up in his place. But I tell you, Neil, that I've got a lot of confidence in our strength staff and our training staff because for us to have the season that we had with the 2 FBS opponents that we had back-to-back and then have to go this deep into the season without getting this week where not from an injury standpoint but also just from a wear and tear standpoint. It's tough to play this many weeks of football straight, and I think we've done a nice job as a staff practice-wise, understanding how much to push, when to pull back. I think strength and conditioning wise, man, very, very pleased with that area and how we've done it because for the most part, we're doing okay. And I think that this week is going to be very, very beneficial for us.